Okay, so we got a few peeps in here. All right, let's talk. Ah. So I guess my first question for those of you that are like interested, what do you like? Are you interested in what are you doing currently with herbs and diet and stuff? Let's start with that. Or do you guys have questions? I'm just gonna sip my tea. Hi guys. Hi Lisa, Mystic Rose, Gypsy, Yvette. Hello Katie, DM Love. Awesome. Cool. So right now I'm gonna show you what I'm drinking. Okay. I actually have two drinks here. So every night, I have a pretty strict like herbal regimen. So pretty much every night I drink nettle tea because it's just delicious to me. Sometimes I love to eat like walnuts and figs. I'm so weird. I eat walnuts and like dried black figs while I drink that, and oh my gosh, it is so freaking delicious. Okay. The other tea that I drink is this one. Okay, see this dark craziness? That is my tea that I drink for balancing out my gut bacteria. So that's also for parasites. It's black walnut hull, cloves, and wormwood. It's horrible. It's probably the worst thing that you would ever taste, but it is amazing. Like I drink it pretty much every day because it really is incredible. I don't know how to tell you like what it does. It just makes me feel calm. The combination of those teas makes me disciplined. Like that's part of the reason why I can fast for so long whenever I decide to do water fast and herbal fast, because those kill my cravings. Like they just calm my nervous system. So, yeah, the tea that flattens bloating as well is that black walnut, whole cloves, and wormwood. That one is like amazing. Let me tell you why, okay? So, if you guys have heard about black walnut hull, it's an antifungal. And actually, like I did some research on the actual black walnut hull tree, and it there is no fungus that grows on it because it's that potent. Like nothing like parasitic or fungus will grow on that tree. And so when you ingest it, it does the same thing with your body. And that's why I've been doing this intense crazy thing, because I've been determined to just like cut everything out. I've been doing this really intense like herbal cleanse where I'm only drinking herbal teas. It's been quite fascinating. It's been quite enlightening. Like my self-discipline has never been this strong. Also, fascinatingly, that tea, it helps if you are like, if you have a strong sexual attraction to a person, or you have an issue with like fantasizing a lot about like sexualness, that I'll pretty much say that helps with celibacy. Like that helps you if you're wanting to, kind of not think about a particular person or fantasize so much about them. That kills all of that. It's amazing. So that's partly why I drink it too, because I just feel like it just makes me feel very in control of my body and my mind. So I wish I could tell you where to get it. I have to find a new herbal distributor because mine that I was going to, they stopped selling herbs, and I've been in a panic. I cannot even tell you guys. I was like, shit. Like, so I'm having to figure out who else I can get my teas from because mine stopped supplying them, which seriously freaked me out so bad. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention. Oh, milk thistle is pretty good. I like to use blessed thistle. It's approved by Dr. Sabi, so I use blessed thistle. Sometimes I drink that as a tea. It's really, really bitter, but it's really good for kind of like, again, helping you to restructure your cells and get them to a more like alkaline state. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, tea. Yeah, I've cut out coffee. I think that is like the worst thing for our body. Yeah, walnuts. Walnuts are the only nut that I eat now. Oh, it's so cool that you guys are in here. I don't, Jocelyn, so I don't drink kombucha. Kombucha. Yeah, I don't know how to say it or spell it. I don't, just because it doesn't really follow the guidelines that I follow. I have drank it in the past, but I'm more lately into, like, I don't want to sound all perfect. I'm definitely not, but I've just noticed like anything that doesn't taste good, like these teas, I've just been finding that drinking them is it's completely different than my chemical programming, and I've been trying to switch away from anything that's been my norm because, like, I would like to change my lifestyle and my mental health and everything. So I've just found that veering away from anything that really truly like tastes like delicious almost, because kombucha, I've tried it before and it's quite delicious. So I try not to. I think it's a little bit more acidic. I don't think that that's just my own stuff. Like, I don't want to tell you guys what to do or anything, but yeah. Good tea to take when traveling. Well, I travel with all my teas. You should see me. Like, I took all my teas to Mexico the last time that I lived there, and I had a hell of a time at customs. I was there for 3 hours. They were not happy about me bringing teas into their country, and they stole a couple of them. I was like, God, it frustrated me. Um, yeah, Shiloh, let's talk about the sun. Okay, so let me tell you what the sun does. I mentioned this a little bit in the last reading, so I'll explain it a little more in detail here, okay? So, in quantum biology, there's this video by Philip Ball and Jim Al-Khalili. They're really big into quantum biology right now. In quantum biology, it was kind of lost for a really long time, just because uh, it was it was really founded during the concentration camps. Okay, which is a very highly sensitive subject, and I don't always talk about it because it's a very touchy subject. But that's also what the Nazis were testing on. They were experimenting on humans, on how, and I believe they were trying to, obviously they were trying to cleanse humans of their impurities. So they were trying to like reset human structures, and that's why quantum biology, it wasn't touched for years, about 50 years. And it recently came back, probably over the last 5 to 7 years. Like some physicists and people picked it up, like Philip Ball and Jim Al-Khalili, because they started to dive into it because they were thinking, if you can understand quantum biology and how quantum physics could be affecting a human, then it could explain why there are genetic mutations, why things could be happening like Down syndrome, or genetic mutations when it comes to humans or babies, and the way that they're born with deformities or things like that, or like autism, things like that. I feel like that's why they wanted to bring it back. So in their lecture, they talked about this whole bird migration, which I brought up a little bit in the video, but let me explain it in detail in here, okay? So there was a German couple in the 70s called the Wilschko. I believe that's what their names were. Wilschko? You can look it up. But they grabbed these European robins mid-migration, and they started doing these experiments on them. They like caught them mid-migration because they were obviously migrating to go to warmer climates. So they caught them during migration, they put them in a cage, and they started like spinning the cage around. They put magnets on the outside and started spinning the cage around because they wanted to see if the birds would be affected by the magnetic field, if they were using that to be able to navigate, because they understand to one as like on one side of things that birds use landscapes, they use the sun, they use certain things to be able to navigate to warmer climates. So but they were blown away by the fact that the birds were actually going toward the angle of inclination of where the magnets were being pulled to when they were moving that cage around. So that's when they started to figure out that there was like this crazy chemical like combination. Like, think about it, it's a little bit of alchemy that birds use to be able to navigate. So they need the entanglement with the sun, because like I said, they they just need this specific communication from the universe to come in and to be able to affect them, to be able to understand the direction that they need to move in. So when they get those photons of light that hit their eyeballs, because there's a neuroscientist called Andrew Huberman, and he talks about how your eyeballs, they are brain matter. They are the parts of the brain that protruded out to be able to like get energy into the body. Like, think about it in that way. And so the birds, like I said in the last video, they have a protein molecule at the back of the eye retina, and it's called cryptochrome. And it's a theory. They don't have complete proof that this is happening, because it's kind of hard to totally tell what's happening at the quantum level. And you have to understand, like, when it comes to quantum physics, like the second that you're observing something, it can change the behavior of a quantum entity in its behavior. So if there's only so much you can do to really test something. So the leading theory is that the bird absorbs green or blue light into the cryptochrome, and combined with the magnetic field of the earth, which is really weak, like unbelievably weak, but that combination will cause the electrons in the cryptochrome to become excited because they're absorbing photons of light. And then they think that the electron gets excited and it gains enough energy that it actually quantum tunnels like through all of your matter in your brain, and it goes back to the brain and it communicates where you need to go. So that's why I talk about it when it comes to humans, because like if you're doing certain things when it comes to your molecular structure, like that's where I feel like synchronicities come in to kind of tell you, hey, this is where you need to go next. It's almost in preparation for what your body needs to come into the highest version of itself and to alchemize or photosynthesize. So that's why even on my channel I talk about traveling and doing things like that, because sometimes like your body wants to go through a migration. Maybe there's something going on chemically within you where a different climate would be better for you to get into your healing. And so just because of the 3D that we're living in, there's a certain aspect that you have to go through of kind of like getting, setting up your reality that allows you to be able to be free, that the universe can take you where it wants you to be for growth. Because we're always in a state of evolving, right? Always. That's why, like, probably the biggest conflict for humans and relationships are these relationships that we're coming into where you grow and you expand and the other person doesn't. Like, I think that's the most popular dynamic that's been happening right now, is like the conflict of having to walk away because you're expanding and the other person won't, or it's not their time, or they refuse to, and you just really can't help that. It is what it is, So that's my theory on the whole sun thing, because I'll tell you, obviously I can't tell you guys to go out and sun gaze or do anything like that, but I've been doing it for the past 6, probably longer, like 7 years or 8. and I'm not blind yet. So I'm like, and even if you guys want to look, there's Andrew Huberman, and he has videos on sun gazing. And I'm like, boom, there's a neuroscientist actually talking about it. So thank goodness for that. Okay. Yeah, I wish I could tell you guys on where to get the tea. I've got to find a new supplier. I feel like a drug dealer or something, but I have to find a new tea supplier. So if I find that, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, black walnut tea. What tea is that for celibacy? Wanted. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna do this whole celibacy thing for I've been seeing a lot of channel like people talk about it. And so I have been doing it technically for the past like 2 years. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna give it another go. Like I think for the next 3 or 4 years, I'm gonna do a whole celibacy thing, like kind of test that out. And so I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. Just go next level in a couple of different ways. Um, yeah, black walnut, cloves, and wormwood. You want to make sure you get all three. It's intense, but it helps a lot. Um, oh, that's weird, Quinn. I'm surprised tea makes you bloated. What kind of tea are you drinking? Because it always makes me feel really light. I don't know. Just know though, guys, like, I'm cool with that, whatever you guys want to drink, but what I promote on the channel, dude, is all Dr. Sabi's stuff. That's all I touch. It's the only thing. So I don't want to at all discount what you guys are doing. Do whatever is best for you, but the only thing that I'm willing to do, I'm so rigid on this. Maybe it's not good, but I've veered off and I get repercussions. So that's why I follow Dr. Sabi's approved food list religiously. It's insane. And even certain things on his list I've stopped taking, you know. I don't use spelt flour, and that's on his milk thistle mojo. Yeah, I understand. Coffee was hard for me to break. I used to be a coffee addict. Well, yeah, I disagree on coffee, but you know, that's okay. Agree to disagree. I think it's way too acidic. It's too caffeinated for people. Yeah, coffee is the hardest one. That's what I'm seeing the most of. Um, I'm just looking at the comments and seeing anything because I didn't keep track of them. Wormwood was kind of trippy. I'll try again and see what kind of reaction I get. Yeah, wormwood is horrible. Like I was recommending this to one of my clients I was reading for the other day, and I was like, just understand, it doesn't taste good. It doesn't make me happy. In fact, like I'm gonna take a little. It makes me have a beer face. Like I hate it, but I get so many benefits from it that I'm like, I just have to. It makes me chill AF, you know? Let's see. Spinning the cage. Oh, now we're getting into this is so funny. Sorry, I'm just barely coming into the comments on quantum physics. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I should do more stuff like this because I feel like I don't get into the quantum physics as much as I want to in the readings. Like I want to dive so much deeper into it, and I just haven't found like a cool way that just gets me in the flow of how, like, because I think about it all the time. Like that's all I think about. Oh, thank you, Jocelyn. I really appreciate that. Um, books. So books that I've read. Um, so I've read The Self-Aware Universe. That was my very first quantum physics book that I read, and I was addicted after that. After I read that, Biology, Belief, and um, Molecules of Emotion by Candace Pert, dude, I was like hooked. OMG, you should have seen me. I was running around my parents' house just like freaking. It was like the only thing that started to make sense in life. I was like, this is why human relationships are so crazy. So that was kind of the start into it. But like I said, I have watched a lot of like, I really love Philip Ball. And Jamal Khalili. Like, they're a little, well, Jamal Khalili is a little bit more. He's a little more egotistical, but I love the way that they explain quantum biology. When I came across their lectures, dude, they explained it in such a profound way. So that's why I would look up their stuff because they explain it much better than I do. Um, let's see. Ah, I do not agree with colloidal silver. I'm so sorry, Binna. I feel so bad that I'm just disagreeing with everything that you say. But yeah, I think that I don't agree with colloidal silver. I don't think it should be in the body. That's my own experience though. I used to take it for a while. I was using colloidal silver, and I'm much more sensitive to my body, and I just was noticing there wasn't as good of a reaction when I would take it. So I stopped and I stuck with, Sabi's list. But again, that's me. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so um, lost on these. Okay, so Neo, I'm a vegan, not a vegetarian. Well, on probably a different level, I'm alkaline vegan. So there's a big difference. There's like even categories of vegan. I know it's ridiculous, but yeah. Um, so Jaya, for a replacement for coffee, I know it will be challenging. I really like burdock root tea and nettle tea. Those are like my favorites, but it's an acquired taste. It'll be different. I love the burdock because it's got kind of like a rooty taste, but it's also kind of sweet. So I would probably recommend replacing coffee with that one, like as you're transitioning. Like I said, you're gonna have to go through reprogramming. So for a while, it might like not taste good or something because your body is so accustomed to coffee and however you've taken it, like if you put creamer or sugar in it. So it'll take a while for you to program your cells. Not pumpkin seeds. I used to do that too. No pumpkin seeds. No. Sorry. Nope. Dr. Sabi does not promote distilled water. He only does spring water, not even alkaline water. And that's the one I struggled with. I used to drink a lot of alkaline water, but he only says spring water, which makes sense in a way. Um, Thoughts on palmistry and tarot combined? I don't know. Oh, okay. That's a good question. So, manifested guilt. How do I ease into my fast? Okay. Um, Let me explain my process that I go through because this happened even recently because I'm on another fast right now, but it's a different one. So, usually what happens is for a while, I'll go through a back and forth. Like mentally, I know I want to fast and I struggle getting into it. Okay? So, for for probably a good week or so, I'll like kind of it's not self-sabotage, but I'll like plan to fast and then I don't do it. So that happens for a little bit. And once I get really disciplined with meditation, running, and yoga, like once I get a lot of mind discipline and I calm down my system with teas, I can't explain it. It's just that process that all of a sudden one day I just feel ready for the fast. Like all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, I'm fine not to eat anything right now. And I just feel really calm. So that's when I know I'm ready. So I'll wait until I finish going through this conflict, and then all of a sudden I just ease into the fast. And that's happened every single time I've done the fast. That's pretty much my process. Is I just go through this. I don't want to, but I know that it's time, like for my gut to just go through a little bit of a replenishment. But I fight myself on it for a good little minute. It's actually quite hilarious to watch me go through it. But also, oh, the other thing too about when I get into a fast, I don't eat any sugar. Like, I'll tell you, the only sugar that I eat is from black figs. Like, that's the only sugar thing that I eat. I've cut out all fruit. I'm not saying fruit is bad because I know that's a sensitive topic, but when you're dealing with, like, if you have parasites inside of you, dude, they love sugar in every form. And I've just seen, like, sometimes if I have a piece of fruit or something, sometimes my face will break out or my gut will get bigger. And that's when I know. So that's why I've been on this really like disciplined regimen, because I've been trying to kind of like cut out all these overstimulating like sugars and just going into a calm state so I can finish out this cleanse and see if I can really like get down to the core things at the bottom. Okay. So leading into the fast, I will usually cut out sugar and salt because those are the more like addictive things that are hard for me to break. Once I get those out, it's so easy to get into a fast because of pretty much at that point, I'm only eating greens. In general, I only eat alkaline raw food. Occasionally, I'll eat quinoa because that's good for you too. It's alkaline. So that's probably the only real cooked thing that I eat if I do eat cooked, because in general I just feel better eating raw alkaline vegetables. Like, I just love them. They make me feel really good. They make me feel in control of my emotions. I don't have as much anxiety or depression. I'm very balanced in my moods. So that's why I say your amount of self-discipline will have huge rewards, like emotionally in all sorts of ways. I'm sorry, whoever paid me the $20, thank you so much. I didn't even see who gave that. Um, so yeah, sorry, I'm way behind on the comments. Where are we at? Hold on with me for a second. These are hilarious questions. Do I sing opera? No. No. Alkaline burdocks are good for, yeah, burdock is so good. I love it. It's my favorite tea. So I drink that one and nettle. Both of those are my favorite. Green apple juice in the morning. That's nice. Yeah, yeah, Tony, Professor Jim Al-Khalili. That is totally him. Thank you, Jocelyn. Let's see. Hey, no. I don't like that guy. How do I get people out of here? Sorry, I'm like, I know there's a way you can block people, but I don't know how. Yeah, yeah, I don't agree with, yeah, seriously. Get rid of Peanut Head. I did not like that comment. That was crazy. I don't know how to kick him out. Yeah. Deal with me for a second, okay? I don't know how to block people. That's not good too. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah. I don't know how to do this, but oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for blocking him. I couldn't figure. That's hilarious. Jaya, Peanut Head has parasites. He needs tea. Yeah, he does. He has psychological issues if he's needing to be breastfed. That's so funny. Oh man. Oh, so hey, um, Extal? I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. So, papaya seeds. Okay. I think they're amazing. Okay. I used to eat them, especially if you guys had seen on my channel for what, like for about a month, I was living in Hawaii and I had access to all of this fresh papaya. And so I would eat it. I would eat the seeds. Oh, dude, they were just as intense as eating like fresh ginger or oregano oil. Dude, they are so powerful. But I'll tell you, and you can always tell as far as parasites, like what's going on, because if you eat papaya seeds or you drink this tea and you start having die-off symptoms, like say you get more emotional or you get more depressed or you start getting more like body odor, that means you have parasites because the the seeds and this tea, it'll just go right in and penetrate the parasites. It like breaks their barrier. So they start releasing toxins into your body. So that's why you usually have to go through like the process of draining your lymph system, because as you're detoxing, as you're like killing the parasites, you're gonna have to cleanse your body like crazy, drinking a ton of water, sweating however you can, and water fasting is the quickest way. Because sometimes like when I drink the tea, I'll start getting like, they'll release toxins and I start getting this really intense calcification buildup in my muscles, especially in my arms and in my legs. So whenever I feel that coming on, the only thing that helps that is water fasting or burdock root. That's the only thing that's going to be able to clear the calcification out of your muscles if you're doing these intense, because it is intense. Like the die-off symptoms, because they're just releasing all the heavy metals into your body that keeps them alive. Like, oh, it makes me so angry to think about those little shits, you know? So yeah, um, papaya seeds, they do work, but at the same time, like I wanted to cut out the sugar. Like I have seen benefits from eating papaya seeds because I've noticed my reaction with my body when I eat them. But I have wanted to try this herbal cleanse for so long. And so now I'm actually doing it. I just wanted to test my self-discipline. I'm constantly doing that. So yeah. No, I appreciate you. Oh, I don't know how to get rid of him. Did you guys block him? See it? It's not working. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I'm gonna have to look that up or something. Oh well. He is still here. That's so hilarious. I don't know. That's so funny. This is hilarious. Okay. Oh, I agree, Crowman. That's the whole reason why I do what I do. Because I'll tell you, like the different states of consciousness that you can come into from cleansing your body and just like filling it full of light, right? Photons of light from the sun and antioxidants gives you a heightened state of awareness. It's just a different level that you'll experience. So that's a lot of the reason why I do it, because I like really playing around with a different way of being, and the clarity is amazing from like fasting and everything. Thank you, Tiana. Dude, I don't know if we can get rid of him. He's still been around. Yeah, I don't take apple cider vinegar. I used to do that a long time ago, but I stopped doing that. And yes, fruit sugars are good, but I'm only saying like when you're working on the detoxing process, like for a parasite, sugars are not the best. Because parasites, like say you're dealing with toxoplasmosis, okay? Do you know how intense, like how challenging of a process it is to get that out of your body? Dude, it's, I swear that thing is like, what do I want to call it? It's like the thing that won't die. Like sometimes I'm like, I swear. And I don't know. I haven't even gotten tested for any of this. I just do a lot of stuff with my own body. Oh, okay. Joss, click on his comments and it should show block or report. I keep doing that. I keep like touching it. But I think he's gone. Except for this guy. Yeah, it won't give me an option to do anything with them. Okay. I know, I saw the other troll. I don't know what to do. I promise guys, I really am like clicking on this guy, but I don't know how to. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh no, it only removed the comment. Oh god. Okay. I don't. I love you guys. You're so patient with me. This is a good way for me to get practice, so that's good. I don't use honey um, because it's not vegan, but I don't bash on people who do use it. So do what you need to do. I used to take it, so. This is hilarious. Oh, good. Okay. That's so funny. Yeah, lately, I don't want to get you guys all paranoid, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, I feel like if you've seen The Matrix, I and that part where they're extracting like the bug from him, dude, I'm like, that's why sometimes I really think that movie was legit about waking up to that, and you know how there's just bacteria in your body that controls a lot of things. So let me talk about this a little bit, okay? So if you guys have heard me talk about toxoplasmosis, okay, about this little shit. No, 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 no. Okay, there we go. Hide. There we go. Okay. I think that worked. I think I got it. Yeah, so toxoplasmosis, okay? So about, and if you guys have looked up like Joe Rogan, he did an interview with Robert Sapolsky on this, Sapolsky, and he said at least 50% of people have toxoplasmosis. That's crazy. Like, if you think about it, and what are the ways that you could get toxoplasmosis? It can be passed down from your mother, like it can be passed down through your family line, and humans can get it from cat feces or from meat. And I think there was maybe another way, but those are the main ways. So think about that. Think if one of your ancestors ate some undercooked meat, and this whole time you've had a little parasite that's been inside your body that's manipulating your dopamine receptors. Isn't that mind-blowing to think about? So that's why, like sometimes I struggle being around humans because like when it comes to cleansing toxoplasmosis, and think about this too, okay? Think about this. This is where my mind goes. Let's say those statistics are right. At least 50% of humans have toxoplasmosis. Think about the way our society has been structured. Like, have you thought about that? Let's say that you have like people in public office that haven't cleansed like parasites from their body. So think about that. You've got a person, because what does toxoplasmosis do? Let's talk about that, okay? Toxoplasmosis, so they did this experiment on cats and rats. And when they found like cats that were infected with toxoplasmosis, and the rats were as well, the rats were sexually drawn to the cat's urine. They are like sexually attracted to the cat. And so when the rat came in, then the cat, obviously, that's its meal. So that's why I find it unbelievably ironic when it comes to these narcissistic or abusive relationships or twin flames, that they are often referred as a runner chaser dynamic or a cat and mouse game. So I'm like, um, that seems a little interesting that it's referred to in that way, because it's almost like the victim can't really help, or let's say the empath or whatever, the person in the dynamic, for some reason, you just have this strong draw to another human, and it's usually sexual. That's what I find fascinating between like the connection between the two. So if this is like if the toxoplasmosis, because they found that it affects humans, and the crazy thing that they found was there's a higher chance of people that are infected with toxoplasmosis for them to be entrepreneurs, because they're more risk takers, or people that die in motorcycle accidents, they have a higher, like, the majority of them are actually infected with toxoplasmosis because it causes them to have like a higher risk taking, kind of thing inside of them. And so that's why I was like, yeah, that makes complete sense, because like, let's say you have a little freaking, and it's just crazy that they talked about that the toxoplasmosis, this little parasite, it's been around for ages. It's a tiny little thing that understands how to survive. Like, honestly, the way I see it, it's like this weird combination between the Matrix and between Men in Black. Like, there's like this little parasite that knows how to trigger your receptors on your cells to get what it needs. So if it feels like it wants sugar, that's why when people are, for a long time, people would be like, when your body is craving something, give it to it. I'm like, you don't know if that's your body or a parasite inside of it. So that's why you have to kind of like have knowledge and awareness to be able to have control over certain cravings that you have. There's a big difference, because back in the day, I used to crave chocolate. I don't crave it at all anymore, which is weird. It's more of a nostalgic thing. It's like an old boyfriend that I've had to say goodbye to. I'm like, oh, I remember those times, but I'm like, get the hell away. So, yeah. Sorry, I keep missing the comments. So, oh, so this is what I was going to talk about. Okay. Um, these are hilarious. Sorry, I keep losing the comments. I believe a true twin flame relationship is not sex driven. That's a karmic relationship if sex is the driving force. Okay, yeah, I'll agree with it. Yeah, at this point, I don't really like Twin flames to me are just mirror neurons. Like, that's how I think of them, you know? It's just any type of relationship that is dependent on like how in touch you are with yourself, how healed you are, and if that person is in touch with themselves. Because here's the other thing that I'll tell you guys. Okay, let me talk about this. Okay. So, um, so there's another guy that I really enjoy watching. He's probably my favorite. Well, I haven't watched him for a while, but I really enjoy his content. His name is Sam Vaknin. His mind, I just love it. So, he talks about narcissists and psychopaths, and um, he talked about like when it comes to a psychopath, they want to become one with you. Like their whole goal in to come into the relationship is to become at one. Like they don't want a separation. They don't want you to have like a separate identity. They want to be one. So a lot of the times in those dynamics, that's why I'm a little bit iffy about like talking to people, because a lot, not all, because I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of people are in these trauma bonds, you know, and they could be so like caught up in a relationship with a person that maybe could be psychopathic. And if they're dealing with that, you've got a person that's trying to enmesh with your energy so intensely that they, because of those separation and abandonment issues. And abandonment issues to me, like attachment issues, are cellular attachment issues. So that's why I talk about the food. That's why, like, to me, narcissism is something about like the gut balance being off, you know, that there's like a disconnection there. So it's actually, like, say there's over ingestion of meat, okay, which by the way, meat is full of free radicals. You can look it up, okay? And so let's say that you're eating a lot of meat, so the free radicals go into your gut and they cause the energy to go down, right? Because what does a free radical do? It goes up to the cells and it steals an electron that it's missing. So your energy goes down. So in your gut, your digestion, how it should move things along, it doesn't. It becomes stuck in there. That's why people become like bloated or overweight, because it's usually because their gut and their intestines is backed up. So once that happens, that's why like sometimes I'm like, we have people that are just walking zombies, you know, because once that shuts down, you've got people that are just like, they have dead emotions, you know, because your gut is full. It's your second brain. It has serotonin. It has all of these emotions that are stored inside of it. So I'm like, that's what it is. That's why I could literally tie everything, narcissism, empathing abilities, it all goes down to the food. Like what we've been eating for the past however many decades. You know, I think it started way back in the day with our ancestors, and that they ate maybe one thing that threw off the body's balance, and then once that happened, it just disconnected. You know, Graham Hancock, he talks about how we're a species with amnesia. We've forgotten who we are. And it's because long ago, our ancestors maybe were in some type of like, you know, challenging environments or something. And maybe, for example, they ate potatoes. What are potatoes? Potatoes are a starch. It's a binder. It binds your energy. That's why I don't eat potatoes. So imagine those little tiny things that they were eating that the body shouldn't have been eating, shouldn't have been ingesting. And then now it's accumulated into, you know, these factories with this processed food. And like, it's crazy what this society has developed into. I know potatoes are delicious. It was really hard for me to cut out sweet potatoes because those are like my favorite thing. I used to love eating them. but I started noticing more of a reaction when I would eat them, so I had to cut them out. And I've just noticed a difference. So that's why I talk about it. It's just because my own experience of cutting it out and feeling the difference between eating them and not. So, yeah, that's my take on this. Yeah, Crowman. Yeah, I was reading about Nostradamus and his prediction. I, it's crazy. It freaks me out. I've been not wanting to talk about it because again, I don't want to freak people out, but at the same time, like, so the CDC posted like this crazy thing. It was like a kind of a breakdown of steps you should take if there was a zombie apocalypse. And there have been a lot of people that are freaking out about it because, yeah, Nostradamus made this prediction that there are a couple different things that we would be kind of in a zombie apocalypse. And that women, I forgot the word that he said, it started with a P. He said that women would be like these, oh, I think it was pestilent or something, but women would be these like wailing and crying because, and I feel like that's actually what's been happening. Like women are really disheartened by relationships not working out. And I think it's because of this whole chemical thing that's been happening. So that's why, yeah, I think his prediction is quite accurate. So, um, yeah, maybe it was a joke. I'm not totally sure, but I don't know. That Nostradamus prediction was kind of like not too far off with where we are in our society. Because, like, I mean, have you guys ever watched dating gurus and stuff like Matthew Hussey or whatever? He has like millions of women that follow him. And I was like, wow, like look at all the women that we're all just like we've lost ourselves and we're so like focused on men and the attention that they give us. Like it's really crazy to look at the accuracy of it. Yeah, I feel like there are like that's why if you guys have heard me talk about J.K. Rowling, like dude, that woman is a freaking genius. And she like her whole thing on like portraying dementors, I was like, dude, those are energy vampires right there. They're just soul-sucking people that like are, to me, they're full of free radicals. They're full of parasites, and because they're not getting the energy that they need, then they just produce humans, and then they use humans as their supply for happiness, and then it depletes people, and it turns into cancer and autoimmune diseases, and it's just this crazy process that we're going through. So, yeah, those are my views on it. Sorry, I do this weird thing with my tea, and I have to push it down right now. So yes, to me, one thing I was going to talk about, okay? You guys are amazing for sticking on here with me. Okay, so you guys know I followed Dr. Sabi. Like I said, you can just Google Dr. Sabi approved foods, and I'm gonna post it on my community. I'm gonna try to remember to do that tonight because I've been meaning to post it on there for you guys if you want to like dive into it or whatever. So here's the thing. So one thing that I've been thinking about a lot too is Dr. Sabi. So he was this herbalist, right? And dude, he's the freaking coolest guy. When I came across his information, I just knew he was the one I was going to follow because back in 1987, he got taken to Supreme Court for practicing medicine without a license. And he was claiming out in public that he could cure cancer, diabetes, sickle cell paralysis, blindness, herpes, like all AIDS, everything. He was like, I can cure it. And so he got taken to court, and he represented himself and won the freaking case. He was told to bring in 9 cases of proof that he had cured. He brought in 77. That's amazing. And so the second I came across him, I was like, that's the guy I'm gonna follow. Like, I'm gonna follow his stuff. And I believe it. So when he was healing himself, he actually had diabetes himself, he had paranoid schizophrenia and impotence, which makes complete sense to me. If he couldn't have sex, then that was probably a huge motivation for him to cure himself. So I always find that really funny. So he went and did all of this herbal fasting, and so he created this whole like approved food list. He actually went to Mexico and he found an herbalist there, and he did all this fasting, and he ended up curing himself after, I think, like, I can't remember the timeline. It was either like 30, 60, 90 days, something pretty profound like that. So here's the interesting thing that he said that like blows my mind a lot. So his impotence, he was saying that before, when he had all of his illnesses, he wanted to kill his wife. And I was like, wow. And I was like, yeah, it's related to his diseases, like his paranoid schizophrenia, the diabetes, and the impotence. It was like he had all these energetic blockages inside of his body. And he was like projecting that on his partner. Like, he legit said that. So that's why I'm always like, man, wow. Like, the whole acid and mucus buildup inside the body is causing like this disconnection to yourself energetically. It's causing all these shadow buildups, and then it's like it's causing this separation in humans. You know, now like people are separating from each other. We can't even come together and be healthy with one another. Like, and I'm wondering, I don't want to say it, but I feel like that it's keeping like relationships from truly coming together and a union from happening. So that's what a lot of like people are dealing with right now, is like these huge challenging disconnections in relationships. Let me go back through these. So the last thing about Sabi, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, I know, that always freaks me out. I don't try to say very much of that. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Sabi. Maybe I shouldn't say this. So back in 2016, he passed away. He was like 80 something years old. He was like having kids up until, I don't know if this is accurate, but like his 70s or something. So, he, what was I gonna say? Oh, he passed away in police custody in 2016. So there was a lot of issues around that. Also, Nipsey, whatever, was like doing a documentary on him, and he disappeared. And then, as far as I've known, Nick Cannon is doing another like documentary on him, but it hasn't come out yet. He's only like rolled out some trailers, but somebody else was picked up. Yeah, I think he was totally killed. So, so, oh, something that popped out. Who is it? Itzy? I don't know how to say your name. What do you think about herbal weed? Okay, so, here's my thoughts about weed, okay? I think that for a time in your healing process, I think that it could be okay. But the problem is that a lot of people have hybridized it. So if your weed is a hybrid, if the chemistry has been altered, then it's pretty similar to like kind of GMOs to me. It's been chemically altered. So it's not going to have the benefits that it should have, because weed, it is beneficial. Like, God made it. It's full of cannabinoids. It can help. But if it's been altered by humans, you've lost it. And that's why I feel like for a lot of people, like if you look up the reality of weed, it can cause people to go into a psychosis. Like, it can cause people to kind of go crazy. Like, a lot of people have, not a lot, but there have been reports of people that go insane, especially from like edibles. So that kind of says something to me, that there's something that's been happening with weed. So even though it's been legalized in quite a few places, I don't think it's the most beneficial thing. Because, yeah, I think it's been getting altered, because that's why, like, again, you can go down to the double slit experiment. Your observation, whatever is going on chemically, can affect a quantum entity to behave like a wave or a particle, right? Wave has ultimate, like, possibilities, and particle can just do one thing. It alters one area of space. So you take a human that's full of free radicals and you've got them in a science lab altering certain chemicals, and they're messing up all the stuff. That's why I'm like, freaking humans, like, I don't understand why this is so hard to understand, because your perception alters everything. That's why I'm super curious, like, if you were to be fasting or doing something like the herbs, altering your chemistry to be more high vibrational, what it would do as far as your ability to affect like quantum states. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. Oh, thank you, Itzia, for the $4.99. That's amazing of you. So yeah, right now, Tina, I'm drinking nettle tea. I'm still trying to work up the courage to drink my other tea. I'm avoiding it. This is usually what I do for a while. So, yeah, I agree. Like, there's a certain state that weed is like freaking cool, I used to smoke it, and I love it to an extent, but yeah, we'll see. If I ever got my hands on like natural, pure, then I would be more willing to try it. I don't really trust the stuff that's in the States. I don't know. It's I don't trust it. Yeah, I think that I don't touch it now, because I think that it can just turn into an addiction, just like anything else. So those are my thoughts on it. Here are my thoughts on. Do I want to talk about psilocybin and things like that? Thoughts on alcohol? I do not agree with alcohol at all. At all. I have seen men turn into the worst versions of themselves from alcohol. And even myself, I can't even say that. I used to drink. I do not at all. I have not had a drink in over 2 years. It's been longer. I don't even know how long anymore. It's been so long. I don't touch it at all. I try. I just get super like anxiety around that atmosphere now. I don't go anywhere near it. Um, oh, I agree. I think iron can make you more psychic. I totally agree, because iron is the spark plug. So I think if you're ingesting more natural iron, like especially if you can get iron from, like, what's the one? I think it was bladderwrack. Sarsaparilla, I know sarsaparilla herb is full of iron. Pretty sure. Who's this Jack guy? I would become a monk. You know, it's interesting. I've been working with a sensei. Um, I would be a monk. I think I could do it. They won't really allow females, so that sucks. But I think I could become a monk at like um my sangha that I used to be going to a lot. Thank you, Andy Zukifu, for the $3. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jocelyn, for telling everyone to click the like button. That's so sweet of you. You're so nice. Um, what do you do to get out of your head? I meditate a lot. Not a lot. I shouldn't toot my horn. I have to meditate. If I don't, then I'm just out of balance. Also, yeah, yoga and meditation. Those are my things that I do to just stay like really balanced, and also just nature. I spend every night, I go sun gaze, and it just helps me to stay out of my head. It's like that combination of things that I've been doing. The giant. Yeah, I need to speak more. This feels good. Dude, you guys don't even know. I've been holding all this stuff back for the past year or so. Like, I've just kind of been sitting around thinking about all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know what I'm allowed to say or anything anymore, and yet there's so much that I have to say, and yeah. Um, by the way, Crowman, I have to ask you. So you guys know, I did a giveaway a while back, and like, did you ever get the giveaway gift that I sent out? For those of you, if you're in the chat, and because I know Crowman, I sent you something. Did you ever get it? Um, yes, I have written. I have a book right now. I had written one before. It was like at about 200 pages, and it got freaking stolen when I was in Mexico. And that depressed me so much. The first time I was living in Mexico, when I was there for 3 months, when was it? Back forever ago. Freaking right as the pandemic was breaking out, when COVID first came out, I was living in Mexico. My laptop got stolen and my backup. So my book that I had written got stolen. And I was like, son of a bitch. So I've been writing that. I've been rewriting it, which is good too, because I'm in a completely different state anyway. So, it's going to be different now, but yeah. No, I don't eat chocolate. Again, I'm gonna tell you guys, yeah. Yeah, I was super depressed about it for quite a while because I had it all constructed, but it's all in my mind. It's all sitting in there, and it's pretty much done, so yeah. Yeah, 3 months is like the tops. That's happened to me twice now, because I've lived there twice now for 3 months, like both times. So in total, I've lived there 6 months. And dude, freaking, I really do struggle in Mexico. That's why, if you guys have, this is so fun. I'm having so much fun talking. If you guys have looked into cartography and astrology, it's like this thing where, like, according to your birth chart, where certain planets run through the earth. How do I say that? It's like energetic points that are connected to your birth chart, and the certain planet placements that you have. There's like yes, thank you, Lucy. Meridians. Yes. So this is really crazy. If you guys know, like, I had this birth chart reading a while ago from Brian. Oh, freaking, I can't remember his name. Brian something. I can't remember his name. He's connected with Astrolata, like Lada Duncheva. He's a really cool guy. So I was talking to him. Yes, thank you, Brian Coulter. God, thank you. Yes. So I had like an astrology reading with him because I really like him. He's such a cool guy. And I was asking him about the cartography because I was trying to figure out where I wanted to live, which is a little overwhelming when you have the ability to go wherever you want. And with my stuff, I'm not the most decisive person, so it was really challenging for me to make that decision. And randomly, he, out of nowhere, he was like, don't go to Hawaii. And I was like, oh, why? Why would you say that? And he was like, because you have these certain lines that it would be like quite a traumatic experience, which was tripped me out because I hadn't even told him. When I lived in Hawaii for a month, I had the worst experience ever. It was traumatic. I had been traveling, and for months after living there, I was sleeping in a bed with a knife every night because of my experience in Hawaii. It traumatized me. I had a lot of PTSD from that experience. I'm laughing about it now because I've done a lot of work, but it was horrible. Horrible. I will never go back to Hawaii again. Never. Never, never, never. So, yeah. I had a lot of really weird experiences there. God. It's funny you're saying Jules Verne. I did from Cuba because the guy that I met on Hawaii that freaked me out was a Cuban guy. I'm not saying Cubans are bad, but he really freaked me out. Oh my gosh. He was very attractive, but he was one of the scariest humans I've ever met. So, yeah. So, astrocartography. Oh, what I was going to say. I have some interesting lines that run through Mexico, and they're on completely different sides of the country. So there's like these different lines that run through both. And there's one that's like my moon line. So your moon is like your subconscious, right? Which is connected to kind of like your family, patterns from your family, the way that you were raised. So whenever I go there, I have all these crazy experiences that kind of come up from my subconscious, and dude, so that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure I'll go to Mexico again. So I'll probably be going to different places from now on because I'm like, Mexico, oh, I had such a interesting relationship with that place. Anyway, what is that? So yeah, those are my things. I think I'm done talking. I think I'm reaching that point. So thanks for joining me, guys. I had so much fun. That's just stuff I've been holding in for so long. And yeah, interesting. The best exorcists are in Mexico or Rome. Well, I hadn't really thought about going to see an exorcist, but I do think that going to Mexico was really good practice traveling by myself because it's quite a it is a different experience for sure. Going there, it makes me feel like I have superpowers because it's like such a freaking crazy environment, man, with the narcos and everything. It's just crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. What time is it even? Dude, it's 11. Oh my gosh, it's my bedtime. I usually have lights shut off by now. So I'm gonna go to bed, guys. So thank you for jumping on. I had so much fun chatting with you guys. We'll talk more. Hopefully, I'll do more of these. We'll see. It'll just be random whenever I feel like doing it. But thank you guys for chilling with me. Thank you for all the donations. I appreciate it so much. I hope you guys are getting some good information. And like I said, I'm going to post the approved food list on my community. So if you guys want to check that out, you can see what I go by. And if you want to dive into it, you definitely can. And yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys soon. For sure, I'll see you in the weekly readings this next weekend. Okay. Have a good night. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Take care.